Hi, Taurus. This is your December 2017 horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com. But in this video, in the first part, we're going to focus about Saturn going into a Capricorn, which will be in your ninth house for the next 2.5 years. So you can come back to this video over the next 2 years to see what to expect and to see how this pans out, to give you the best strategy for action. Because Saturn is a planet that tends to test us a bit more, to give some more of the difficulties in life. So for you to know how to navigate and what to expect, refer to that video over the coming years. And Saturn is moving into Capricorn towards the end of December, the 20th approximately. Yes, and actually, I will give you a general idea of how Saturn will affect Taurus. And then the second part of the video will be about specifically December, what you can expect, because Mercury is retrograde. And where there can be complications and what is the best thing to do. But if you want to really have in-depth understanding about Saturn in Capricorn and how it will affect you personally and how it will affect the world, so you're very prepared, do come and attend on the 9th of December. I think is a webinar with Robert Phoenix, world-renowned astrologer, and me. It's 30% off till then. And after the 10th of December, it becomes $39. Otherwise, it's $29. And he's an astrologer with more than 30 years experience. He'll give you such a different and profound insight than me. And he would personally be looking how it affects people on a personal level, not only the world. I'm looking forward to this webinar. It will be a treasure trove of information. Plus, in December again, we have a workshop of 2 days with Rumen Kolev on ancient astrology, Babylonian astrology, the way the ancient did it, the way Trifon Nikolov, if you've seen videos of his, does it, and you don't need to know almost any astrology. We generate your chart, and we teach, and Rumen Kolev will teach you exactly what each degree of the ancient astrological zodiac, which is very different than the zodiac we have now, what it meant for them and how they made predictions with that. For example, did you know that if you have something on Aries 7 degrees, you might have a very potty mouth? Or do you know that you can be super horny if you have something at exactly the degree 7 Aquarius, tropical, or sidereal? We'll look at sidereal. So this webinar will be fantastic to understand the ancient Babylonian zodiac and the fixed stars. It is on the fixed stars. It's 14 hours. So it's like a whole 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday. And you're learning ancient astrology from the foundation. Anyway, let's see what Saturn in Capricorn will bring us. Well, for you, Taurus, it's interesting because the next 2.5 years, starting from December, Saturn will be in your 9th house, which means that it will make, 9th house is our belief systems. And Saturn is a traditional planet. So a lot of you might start going back to the belief systems of your childhood, of your parents, for example. A lot of you might revert to a belief system that is more connected to their roots or more traditional. They might start investigating, for example, ancient astrology. They might start investigating ancient history. They might start investigating ancient or all the like more traditional Christianity or more traditional Buddhism. Or it might be not only belief systems, but outlook on the world. Because the 9th house is how we perceive the world. Do we look at the universe as a benevolent father figure that helps us, or do we look at the universe as a evil stepmother, or do we look at the universe as a mechanical organism? And Saturn tends to remove the faith-based energy of the 9th house. So a person becomes way more practical and pragmatic in regards to their belief system. A person starts doubting their beliefs. If they were too, let's say, innocent or too unrealistic belief system, Saturn will show you that. Or maybe you put your trust in a teacher or belief system that does not support reality so much, and you become aware of that while Saturn is in your 9th house. And there might be some crisis of faith, and some disappointment because something that you believed in, something that you trusted with your whole heart, or that you thought has the answer for your whole life, or has the, has the belief system that you lived your life on, might be destroyed with Saturn in the 9th house, and might be revised towards a more, realistic approach. Let's give you an example. I'll give you an example with myself. Of course, I'm Aries, so I always give examples with myself. When Saturn entered the ninth house from my sun, sorry, from my ascendant, so you have to check the sun and the ascendant. Till then, I was very much into the secret, believing that positive thinking is all that is needed to create your reality. And it's helped me. I visualized, and a lot of the things I would visualize, you know, I had to work my ass off for them, but they happened. But till then, I was kind of thinking that visualization is enough and that positive thinking is enough. But Saturn transiting the ninth house gave me a realization that you have to work hard for your goals. That it's not about, sorry, just close here because it's loud. That it is not only about, you know, oh, sitting and meditating, visualizing, but it actually takes a lot of efforts to go where you are, and you become more realistic about your goals of the future. And you can remove some goals that are no longer valid, that do not sound realistic, that do not have realistic value. And again, as I said, because of that, there might be some deflation of your optimism, especially initially, or especially the first, you know, how do I say, the first year, because you're seeing that reality is not corresponding to your ideologies. Maybe you want to save the world, maybe you want your plans are to have a career that cleans the oceans, or career that, you know, something about your goals for the future, and something that gives you a reality check. And maybe that you need to pre-qualify, that someone comes and says, well, this career is no longer viable, or this goal is not realistic in the current economy. So you start thinking, I have to pre-qualify. Ninth house is higher education and knowledge that you get, which helps you with career, fulfill your goals. So some of you might go back to school, you know, some of you might go back to university, some of you might go into some very deep studies. Saturn is about hard work in the ninth house. It's about putting lots of efforts and energy and being meticulous and following protocol. Maybe some of you might have thought that they can achieve success without university, but now they can realize that they might have to take the old and tested road of university, or being trained with a teacher of some sort. And often the teachers in our life, which is also the ninth house, when Saturn is there, are tougher. They're maybe older teachers and mentors, or they're just more hard taskmasters to us. They demand more from us. Your professors, your teachers, your mentors, your inspirational figures will shift, will change towards more older, established, materially proven, rather than idealistic, you know, mentors, and that are always like, oh, well done, you're great, you're doing great. Now you'd either attract more tougher teachers and mentors around you, or, you know, you'd prefer such, or the universe will push them on you. And another thing is, in ancient astrology, the ninth house is the father. It can create some difficulties in the life of the father, while Saturn is in the ninth house, in your relationship with the father, or in your relationship with teacher figures. Again, as I said, mentor, teacher figures, father figures that are more demanding, more critical of you in some sort. You know, they want your highest potential, because Saturn in Capricorn is not malevolent, and actually is the best position for Saturn. So these are fair teachers. Whatever they demand from you, actually you need it in your life. But yes, there might be some resistance, but not so much, because Taurus is making a trine to Capricorn, where Saturn will be. So it's going to happen. Yes, there will be, you would mature in your belief systems, in your perception of reality, you would mature a lot. You would have more realistic goals by the end of this. But somehow you will be also willing to go that route. You'll be willing to do that growing. It's not going to be like taking you out of a comfort zone or pressuring you into that. But be prepared for this kind of possible disappointments in regards to you seeing reality in a more mature, grown-up ways, maybe not such idealistic ways as before. And to be honest, for Taurus, this is not such a bad thing, because it's not such a difficult thing, because they're earth sign. They're very practical, down-to-earth sign, and that kind of corresponds a lot to their nature. And there is another good thing, you know, Saturn will be supporting your goals and plans and efforts, and in the next 2.5 years, because it's sending trine aspect to you, Taurus. 2018 will be the April-born Tauruses that feel that the most. 2019 will be the second decan, so the first 10 days of May Tauruses that feel that structuring but stabilizing influence of Saturn, that streamlining your goals and your perspective about life becoming more realistic and more, and your goals being more aligned to reality and more practical. Maybe some kind of re-education or some kind of a line, of course, of heavy study is required as well. And of course, the third decan is 2020, basically, part of 2019, they will feel it. But the April-born Tauruses, or those that have their ascendant or their moon in the first 10 degrees, feel the supportive influence of Saturn to help them achieve some long-term goal. To, for example, if it's your sun in Capricorn, sorry, in Taurus, 2018 can stabilize your positions in your career. Again, it will bring some more responsibilities and duties, but you'll be much more responsible towards your career. With authority figures, there will be stabilization. With all the with bosses of some sort, there will be stabilization, and support from older people or more experienced people as well. And if it's your, and with your life goals overall, if it's your moon that is in Taurus, the first 10 degrees, 2018 Saturn is trining your moon, so it can give stabilization in your personal life. Maybe having to work harder, for example, to make a home or property, to arrange the matters of home or property, but doing it will come, you'll be disciplined and ordered, and it will give you great stability in your personal life. Or it can stabilize and create more lasting feelings in some relationship, because the moon is connected to emotions, to bonding, to relationship, to matters of property, of home, of personal life, to emotional stability as well. You might not be super excited emotionally, but you can be, you know, more stable mentally as well. And of course, if it's your ascendant, Saturn doing the trine from your 9th house towards your ascendant in the first 10 degrees in 2018 stabilizes your whole path in life, makes you be realistic, down to earth, everything we talked about, in a way that is not, you know, that is not disruptive to you. But remember, there will be some change of the goals, of plans, reorganization of that. And also 9th house is, if you're studying, for example, if you're in university, you can have, and you're hoping to get accepted to university. Yes, Saturn in the 9th house can definitely materialize that, but you have to put the hard effort. Saturn only rewards people that put the energy. If you're trying to cheat on an exam to get there, to jump a few hoops, it's not going to work, guys. You'd only get accepted, and actually to really good institutions of some sort, really high level institutions, if you work very hard. Also, the 9th house is about arranging foreign documents or foreign travel. Well, it might be somehow delayed. Plans for travel to foreign countries might be delayed. Plans to relocating to foreign countries might be delayed somehow, or require more efforts with Saturn in the 9th house. And arranging documents, or some, if you're in business that is international trading or to do with foreign countries of any sort, or publishing as well as the 9th house, or educational careers, if you're a professor, if you're in academics, your responsibilities do increase. Say if you're a travel agent or you're a professor, or anything to do with 9th house careers, or you're lecturing or you're teaching, you know, your responsibilities will increase a lot. So will your respect, social respect, but at the same time, the workload will increase a lot, but you can achieve very strong foundations in those careers as well, and things can go a bit slower than you expect. Things are slowed down, so you put more efforts, but you're more meticulous in careers connected to the 9th house. So yes, if you're having Taurus in the 9th house career that I mentioned, actually, this can be a very good time for your career, very structured, very organized, very helping you achieve higher status, but through hard work and efforts, and you'll maybe see the results towards 2020, when the Saturn in Capricorn transit is ending. What else is the 9th house? We said father figures, mentor figures, travel, foreign countries, arranging documents. You can be traveling for work, Saturn responsibilities and work. So any kind of travel either requires a lot of takes more out of you or requires a lot more efforts in some way, or it's connected to working. That's good. As I said, if you're doing any traveling connected to work, it's gonna be great. All right, so you see, it's nothing too bad actually, Saturn in Capricorn for you. If anything, it's quite supportive and stabilizing. Okay, then let's focus specifically on December. And Mercury is going retrograde in your 8th house, Taurus. So be careful with resources and money because it's one of the financial houses. The whole December out, even the end of November, the whole December, don't spend spontaneously. And there might be some expenses that come to you through others. For example, through a partner. Your partner might have certain expenses, some complications financially or in regards to their resources that you have to solve, or maybe clients of yours that owe you money, or maybe a bank that you owe money to, or that a bank, something might come to you, anything to do with banks, with other people's resources, with taxes. You might be having to work extra hard and to be very careful with details about taxes, guys. Mercury retrograde in your 8th house. December is a month, if you're preparing your taxes or something, be meticulous to the point, because you might have to redo things. There might be some complications, you know, and delays. Also be careful with any documents connected to inheritances, any documents connected to mutual resources, say business contract about how you're going to split the money with a partner or something like that. These contracts might need to be renegotiated, or maybe you might have to rebudget with your marriage partner. Say you're married, you have mutual budget, and something can happen that you need to re-examine your resources together with your partner, redo them in some way, put more effort in it, put more attention to detail, you know, and anything to do with taxes, inheritances, other people's money, clients' money, business partners and marriage partners' money and resources as well is being re-examined. And there might be some delays, some frustrations, and hopefully by the end of this process, you would have created a better agreement between you and clients, between you and, you know, a partner, how you budget, how you spend money of some sort. Usually some kind of mini crisis can instigate the looking into that, but this is what might be needed sometimes for us to make the necessary efforts. And Mars is going from the 10th of December into your 7th house, Taurus. Will stay there for quite some time till 2008 in January, part of January as well. Here it is. Yes. So from the 10th of December and the whole January, it will be in your 7th house. So guys, there'll be a lot of action that happens in regards to relationships. And Mars will join their Jupiter. So the second part of December and the first part of January, Mars and Jupiter create a yoga for wealth or some material benefit or some benefit coming to you as a combination through other people, whether business partners or whether some partnership, some collaboration, or whether marriage partner. Also, it makes you more horny, Mars in the 7th house, from the middle of December. Gives you lots of interactions with others, and people in your environment. They can be more sexual, like Mars. They can be more pushy, more aggressive. They can press your buttons and provoke you more at the same time. But they can also be like, in a positive way, like an instigating you into action to do some important activities, pushing you into, they're acting like the engine in your life. Maybe someone tells you something and triggers you. Maybe your partner annoys you, or business partner, or someone, or a client annoys you, and this pushes you to make some changes that are positive in the long run. And it's a good time when Mars is in your 7th house to be proactively pursuing contracts, agreements, business deals, to be proactively pursuing, you know, from the 10th of December, to initiate, maybe to approach other people and to ask them to collaborate with you. And others might be approaching you as well quite aggressively and directly to want to do something together with you in some way. I'm not talking just sexually, it can be business related. People that are in the business world, they become more like business sharks when Mars transits their 7th house, more aggressive towards targeting clients, towards, you know, approaching business deals and making agreements and negotiations and deals of any sort. But on the personal level, yes, that's more sexual influence. But if you're in a long-term relationship, this can mean that you're more easily irritated by a partner. and hopefully you can work it out through sex. So maybe go and work out and do some vigorous activity, or put your energies together in some project. For example, maybe projects connected to your children, or projects, mutual projects that you have to physically get involved together and put energy with your partner. So thank you so much, Taurus. This is the overall picture of December, but most importantly of the whole 2018 and 19, with Saturn in your 9th house, which most of the time is actually quite positive. And hopefully you enjoyed that one. Don't forget, 30% off with the webinar on Saturn in Capricorn. Way more in-depth information you'll receive with Robert Phoenix in December. Check the link. And also, if you want to be part to learn all about each degree in the ancient astrology, according each fixed stars and each degree and what it means. And even if you know nothing about astrology, if you know the meaning of degrees, and you see someone's sun is the degree of of the fixed Babylonian zodiac of priesthood or spirituality, this person will have a career that's connected to teaching or spirituality. Oh yeah, and I wanted to quickly tell you, when Saturn was in my 9th house, what happened to me is that I started teaching. So it's not necessarily bad, it's actually lots of heavy responsibilities around teaching, but also allowed me to structure my teaching ability much better than before, to systemize it, to streamline it. So if you're in such careers, Saturn in the 9th house can be very helpful, albeit not easy. It definitely increases the responsibilities and duties. So thank you so much, Taurus, and I will see you. And yes, definitely you'll start feeling that you want to go back to old belief systems or research ancient belief systems, knowledge from the past. Maybe start with the webinar of ancient astrology that we're offering, the 2-day course with room and college. So thank you, and I will see you next year.